All right, yesterday it came out and it was scathing. It was about 250 pages, and essentially it laid the blame for the shuttle catastrophe stuff.
She's not re-enrolling in her sophomore year at college at the University of Northern Colorado.
She's got a lot going on.
Absolutely.
So do we, and we're delighted you would join us on this Wednesday. Straight ahead.
It's good news. At least 90% of the time when we hear about loud explosions, it usually follows by news of some sort of terror attack or retaliation. This time, not the case. It was a gas balloon.
Yeah, since it all comes clear. Actually, he was the same color as your top.
That's right. And my snorkel is actually behind the chair.
Hey, you know what? Today is the day that will go down in Fox News. Well, that's
700 numbers in his cell phone that were just like, sit off, right?
He grabbed my cell phone and just huddled with it for...
He speaks Portuguese?
Yeah, Brazil.
Oh, that's right.
All right.
Hey,
3 minutes after the top of the hour, but guess who we booked?
This intern just brought us cash.
Oh, well...
At least it according to him.
And coming up, a terror tackling team.
Earlier, the big question was it hexagonal?
Yes.
North Korea, South Korea, Japan, and the U.S., and we couldn't
A six-sided table. That's what we need to say.
Hexagonal. Hexagonal. You said hexagonal.
Whatever. I'm just setting the record straight.
A big, curvy table, and so far the Russians are really putting a damper on our morning. On the show by his tone.
Exactly.
23 minutes before the top of the hour. New radio network about to launch.
We've been talking about this for the last...
According to the New York Post, they say that there's... backers of the unnamed network, which I still haven't named, are saying that it should be ready to go, that they're interested in leasing at least 4 local stations in New York City.
One of the most beautiful women we get the privilege of working with, and talented.
Thank you. Well, I was in the Dominican Republic for a 3-year wedding anniversary. Missed the hurricane. Came in the day the hurricane left. We left the day the earthquake hit, so we got lucky.
You missed the blackout too, didn't you?
No, I was really in the blackout.
All right.
All right. All right, good to have you back, everybody. Here's what's coming up over the next 3 hours.
About that. Also, Steve Harrigan's coming. Did you know that? He's coming on the show today.
Yes.
And he's been doing this incredible series in Iraq where
Rocky,
in some way, shape, or form.
Except for Rocky 5 never made sense to me.
Oh, right.
Well, I said about sports.
Oh, that's right.
It wasn't anymore.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Steve Ducey.
Speaking of which,
West Coast. Now everyone's going to write in.
It's
beautiful in the West Coast.
Coffee.
we actually conspired to interrupt you.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so I'm sorry. What did you say? So
Great, stay the way you are.
That's a song, I think.
Right.
Yeah, don't
France
change.
donates not a nickel.
Song, I think.
Right.
Yeah, it's okay.
And that was last night's meeting.
So it'll be interesting to see what's going on with Mr. Abbas. In the meantime, the truck bomb, who was driving the truck that rammed...
You on the lamb, Steve?
Actually.
Huh?
All right, well, we'll go to California. And John's on the phone. Forgive and forget, divide and conquer.
I just don't know what his point was. All right, John. Hey, John.
Hello?
Hi, John. Go ahead.
This is Steve in Ohio. You guys got mixed up somewhere. Morning, Karen. Love your legs. Hey, listen, this is crazy. This
Like I'm not here?
No, don't like
Brian's
this.
got
Sorry.
Thank you very
too.
much.
Look at this.
I forgot to shave for the last 10 years. My shin is growing in like a forest.
It's hard to get the knees.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, this bipartisanship and everybody...
In Iraq, one of the few people who backs up me wearing a suit without
the
a
open
tie.
collar, yes. You looked very Orlando Salinas. It was a great look.
He was next to me. He was our big guest.
But
Also,
that was the one and only chance for people to see Steve Ducey's bare feet as well, because he had on little...
the rest of the time he had on this really tight tank top, so it was good just to see him with a baggy shirt. Yeah, that's when he's happiest. But you know what's interesting?
We'll have more on that in the 7 o'clock hour when Edie's sitting here and she can tell you to zip it.
I don't think she would actually tell me to zip
We'll
it.
see at 7. We'll see what
Really?
she says.
All right. Meanwhile, the memo debate, which you can't get enough of.
No, the Senate Intelligence Committee, of course.
23 minutes before the top of the hour. All right, let's change gears a little bit. Jessica Lynch is talking tonight. You'll see her with Diane Sawyer, but you're probably watching here, so use the VCR or TiVo if you can afford it. Jessica Lynch talked because he's Pete Rose.
All right. Well, still ahead. When does back top of the diner?
How many times you're in your kitchen, you're saying to yourself, what's today's date, honey? And a lot of times you're alone.
Yeah, I wonder that in several parts of my house.
Right, and now you don't have to.
Thank God.
Right.
Can I get one of those? Can you sign it for me? My mother?
I just don't have the time.
For Christmas.
Very busy.
Fine.
15 minutes before the top of the
I
hour,
knew it
we're
would
ready to
do,
move on.
Yeah,
File
the
your
leaked
calendars
memo in
now.
Washington is both sides of the aisle duking it out now. So will exposing the backstabbers be no French
none like yours.
You had to say that. I bought it
Absolutely.
before the war, before all this thinking. No, I love my little Zoe.
Trade it in. They're not
Okay, look,
dogs.
if I let you and Herman loose in a room, he'd win.
Yeah.
22 pounds of pure muscle, he'd win.
Okay, if you say so.
No, it's probably true, actually. Let's lighten things up a little bit. What is the story with the Prince Charles and the room?
And then see, we would have to go there on the show.
But they're saying it's one of the weirder episodes in the history of the British royal family. I guess we're going to have to stay tuned.
It's always a little wacky over there anyway.
Those are actually
those royals, those wacky royals. And obviously, we've got some beautiful babes right here. So we'll just let you talk about them. Karen, come on over here.
Hi. These are so adorable, these outfits.
All right, now, Quidjibo, I've never heard of this company. I'm not really familiar with outfitting dogs, even though I probably should now that I live in New York. So where can you find this stuff?
We can find this.
Get it right.
That's awesome. All right,
man, oh man.
Hi, William.
If you thought the show had gone to the dogs and the
problem. I shine a lot more than everybody else, so I need
to. Julian.
It just all goes to pot after 10 minutes on the air. So
unbelievable. You probably have
my rescue.
You have a dozen shoes behind the set.
You know how people bring emergency aid kits with them. You know they never know when they're going to hurt themselves. This is this for me. Okay.
We got to talk about some tough stuff, though.
Yeah.
Let's segue
over here. This news about Yasser Arafat's bank accounts.
Trojan horse. The other is Israel and the War of Images, and apparently it contains rare footage of...
If the Palestinians or Arabs hear that...
Just heard that by a Voice of America correspondent as to whether or not that the anti-coalition forces that we're facing there that are attacking U.S. troops are basically amount to us battling a ghost. And that seemed to be the time when he got the most tense throughout that entire press conference. He says, look, the guys that are laying on the battlefields, the Iraqis that are laying on the battlefield aren't ghosts. The people that we've captured aren't ghosts. He got a little fired up about that.
He also said morale is not a problem. So he's speaking and answering questions, of course. People from all different walks of life and all different media and all different countries are going to be asking him what they think is important, and he's answering anything, as he said.
All right, well, let's sit here quietly.
Like magic.
We've got a nice crowd growing out
I know.
here.
We have so many people out here today that came by to say hello.
Did you guys come by to see Hanson?
Yeah.
We got to go out to Amy Kellogg right now. Britain faces growing concerns that terrorists are coming from its own shores.
That's right. Or we can just sit here and smile.
Okay.
Back burner.
It's there in the prompter,
That's very
but whatever.
funny. Back burner. Well, you know, she did, talk a lot about a lot of different things with Barbara Walters last night. But you're right.
Well, she asked her if she was scared.
Nothing matter for Rosie O'Donnell as the comedian stands and takes a stand in her own defense. All right. Well, her court case.